Hello, and welcome to another edition of Cooking Reimagined with Elaine. Today in California, where I live, is a very cold, windy, rainy day. So I said to myself, how about a comforting pot of chili for dinner? So that's what we're going to make today. So come along with me. What I have here is I have about a pound of stew meat, which is basically round steak cut into bite-sized pieces. I have one very large can here of pinto beans. I like pinto beans in my chili. If you don't have pinto beans on hand, you can always use kidney beans, cannelloni beans, navy beans, any type of beans that you like. And I know there's a big controversy out there. Does chili have beans or not? Well, in my opinion, it does. Now, if I'm eating a chili dog, I don't want beans in it. But if I'm having a nice big bowl of chili with onions and cheese on top with a side of cornbread, I definitely want beans in it. So here we go. Back to our ingredients. I have one large can of diced tomatoes. I have an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. And to start my chili, what I like to use is Carol Shelby's chili mix. Now, I don't follow the recipe on the box. If you want to, you are more than welcome to, of course. What I use this for is the packet they have in here. These seasonings are fantastic, so I do use this. And at times I will use the masa mix to thicken the chili if it's not as thick as I actually want it. Also, it comes with this handy dandy little packet of extra cayenne pepper, so if you like things really spicy, this is it. So, all right, now I also have over here on my cutting board, I have a half of a diced up large brown onion. I have half of a very large bell pepper diced up also. So those are going to be our ingredients that we're going to be working with today. Also, along with this, I'm going to be making cornbread. And no, I don't make cornbread from scratch, but I've tried about every brand there is on the market. And in my opinion, Famous Dave's Original is the best there is. It's very sweet, it's a cake-like, I like it, and it's very easy to make. So this is what I'll be making to go along with our chili tonight. So here we go, let's get started on cooking. I'm going to put my burner on high. I want the pan to get nice and warm because I'm going to brown this meat. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little canola oil, do a couple rounds in the pan there just so that the meat does not stick, okay? All right, now when I am cooking chili or soup, I don't know what it is. My husband bought this spoon years ago. It is a giant wooden spoon. And for some reason, to me, soups, chilies, and stews taste better when I use this darn spoon. I don't know why, but I love this stupid spoon. So this is what we're going to be using today. So let's get our oil around in our pan here. Feel it. As soon as it gets good and hot, I'll add the meat. So I hope you're having a good day today. This chili will take several hours to make. So if you are working and you don't have time to do that when you get home, you don't have a couple hours to wait for dinner, you can make this ahead of time. Make it the night before, make it the weekend before, stick it in the refrigerator. It heats up and the flavors are fantastic because more of your flavors actually get into the food. So, you know, if you're working, I understand that. If you're older like me and, you know, you have the time to do it, then you can make it. So either or, whatever works for you is what's good. Okay, all right. So now I'm going to take this meat. I'm going to get it into my pan. Ah, you hear that sizzle? It means we're good to go. So let's just break this up a little bit. And again, this is some of my round steak that I bought. I found it on sale. I brought it home, cut it all up, flavor sealed it, put it in the freezer, and then it's there when I need it. So now I'm going to toss this out. I'm going to wash my hands. Alrighty. So chili to me is comforting, it's good. You know, when there's just like a little bit left over, what I'll do is, you know, one night, of course, I'm gonna turn this down a little. You know, I'll make this for dinner one night, and then let's say there's like 2 small bowls left over. What I'll do is serve it for lunch with like a sandwich, make a sandwich, and we'll have a sandwich and a bowl of chili. So, you know, there's different things you can do with it. You could always take it to work, heat it up in the microwave, have a bowl of chili, and there's always leftover cornbread. It's a lunch. So either way, it's always a good thing. I always like to make things that I have leftovers so that I can reuse them on a different day. So now I'm going to take some salt. I'm going to salt this meat. I'm going to put a little pepper in here. And then you know from my cooking that I always like to use garlic powder and onion powder. So I like to season the meat. Even though we're going to use a seasoning packet for the chili itself, I think the meat itself also needs flavor. I like to layer up my flavors. So a little bit of onion powder. Now, when our meat is starting to brown up, that's when we'll add in our onions and our peppers. Saute those also in, get those we don't want them mushy, we just want them to start to cook. So let's see here, let's get this, is looking pretty darn good. All right. Now, if you look at the Carol Shelby's chili, it calls for using hamburger. I've never made chili with hamburger, but you know, if that's all you had on hand and you were craving chili, I'm sure, you know, it'd be fine to use. I just like the round steak. I like the flavor that it gives and the mouthfeel, if you would. You know, when I bite into my chili, I want to have some meat in it. All right, so it's starting to brown. So now I'm going to add in, let me get my food mover here. I'm going to add in the diced onions and the diced pepper. So there we go. Oh, that smell is so good when you put in onions and peppers and you're frying something up. Oh, love it. Now again, I don't follow the directions on the chili mix. A storm here today. Strange weather we've been having. I don't know about where you live, but we've been having some really strange weather. So it's a perfect day for a nice bowl of chili. Okay. My onions are starting to get a little bit translucent. As I said, I don't want to overdo it because they're going to cook a lot more in the broth here that we're going to make in a minute. So that's looking really good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take 4 cups of water. I have just 4 cups of plain tap water. I'm going to put them in, put it all in here. Okay. Then I'm going to take the Carol Shelby seasoning mix, the very large package that comes in it. I am going to sprinkle that in. I'm going to take and stir it gently here because I want to mix the seasoning up without splashing it all over the stove, which would be really nice, right? Let's clean up. So let's see here. Okay, beautiful. Oh, it's already smelling good. All right, now I am going to take 8-ounce can, little tiny can of tomato sauce. I'm going to add that in. Gives you your tomato flavor, but in my opinion, you also need diced tomatoes. Now, today I'm just using plain diced tomatoes. You can use diced tomatoes with green chili in them, with onions, with peppers, you know, so you can add anything you like, whatever you have on hand or whatever you like. Today I'm just using plain. So I'm just going to dump that in. Okay, this is looking beautiful. I did pretty good. I only have 1 small spill on the stove. Not bad. Okay, so now I'm going to get this up to a boil. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. I want to get this up to a boil, and once it's boiling, I'm going to put the lid on it. I'm going to turn it down. So that'll be our next step here. Okay, let me clean this up a little bit here. Put all this away in the garbage. So And right now, while I've got it on high, I'm stirring gently just because I don't want anything to stick to the bottom of my pan. You know, but I want to get it nice and hot. I want to get it up so that when I turn it down, it'll simmer. This is really pretty with the tomatoes and the peppers and the onions along with these big chunks of meat. It really looks good. And again, if you don't like beans in your chili, you could just do this, let it simmer for a couple of hours, and you've got your chili. So, you know, it's just a personal preference. I know it's like a thing of northern, southern thing that everyone argues over, but I like to make what I like to eat. And I like beans because beans are really healthy for you. They're full of fiber, they're full of protein, they're economically priced. So I like, you know, cooking with beans. So. And as you can see, I have not added the beans yet because these beans are already cooked in the can. So you don't want to add them now or you would have nothing but mush. So your beans go in at the end, okay? You know, I do a lot of crock pot cooking, and I've shown you guys some different things, giving you ideas here on my channel. So again, if you wanted to make this in a crock pot, say you had to go to work or you're going to be out for the day, take and brown your meat first. After it's browned, put in your onions and your peppers, just like I did. Then you want to transfer the meat, onions, and peppers to your crock pot. You want to add the liquid. You want to add the tomato sauce and the tomatoes. Put it on low. Let it cook all day long, so 6 or 8 hours, whatever. When you get home, then you can add the beans in like I'm going to do after this is simmered on the stove. So again, when you get home, add your can of beans to it, stir it, let it heat through, dish it up. You've got dinner, which is not a bad idea. You know, if you're busy working, the kids have sports, whatever's going on. So this is also a recipe you could make when you had time, like on a weekend. You could take this, put it in containers and freeze it. And then when you wanted chili one night for dinner, just take the container out, set it in the refrigerator to defrost, you know, the night before. When you get home, pop it either in a pan and warm it up on the stove, pop it in the microwave, whatever you want to do. You'd have dinner ready in no time at all. And if you didn't want to do cornbread with it, you could do crackers with it. If you had some French bread, it'd be fantastic, you know, whatever you like. So I prefer cornbread, but sometimes, you know, you just don't have what you want at that moment, so you use what you got. Okay, so here we go. It's starting to come up to a boil. I'm getting some good heat here in my pan. I've been stirring. Oh, that is looking so good. I cannot wait to eat this. Okay. And like I said, the colors are beautiful in the pan, so looks gorgeous with the red and the green and the white. So okay, once this is up, then like I said, we will put our lid on and let this simmer. So let's see here. We will put our lid on and let this simmer. So let's see here. Okay, I'm getting a little bit of a ripple here in the pan. It doesn't have to be big, big boil. You just want to make sure that it's good and hot. And I'm getting the little bubbles that are coming up. So that's good for me. I'm going to take the lid. I'm going to put it on this pan. And I'm going to turn this down to low. So I'm going to put it on low. I'm going to let this simmer for about 2 hours. I want the meat to be extra tender and I want to get all the flavor in it. So I'm going to let this simmer and we'll be back shortly and we'll finish up our chili. So we've let our chili cook for about 5 minutes or so, and it has thickened up. It's very nice. This is more the consistency that I was looking for. So now let's get this plated up. Grab a ladle here. Looks so good. Smells delicious too. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to use some sharp cheddar cheese. A little bit of diced white onion. clean up my plate a little bit. I got a little overage here, so I'm gonna clean that up. Just a little spill. All right. So, here's our finished product. Here's our homemade chili. I hope you enjoy. And until we cook together again, bye.